Hello everyone, this is Jim Krasinski with this week's lecture video. So right now everybody's been drafting SA3. I have been taking my time and working my way through the first draft and peer review report assignments. I have been commenting on the draft. I want to emphasize that this is not a deep read, it is a surface read looking for what I can comment on quickly. I am recording this lecture video on Thursday morning, so hopefully by sometime on Friday or Saturday morning at the latest, I will have looked at everyone's first draft that was uploaded on time. So one thing I did notice and what I want to talk about today, and it was scheduled for my lecture video, is MLA guidelines. So there are plenty of videos uploaded in the Canvas module, also in the textbook here where I'm looking at using and citing sources MLA. And I want to point out to everyone that MLA is author page. That's how we cite in-text citation is author and page. Please double check your sources. Even if they're from the internet, it appears there might not be an author, for your particular source or article. I want to make sure that there is an author listed or not author listed, so it really determines how you're going to go about citing sources. So the idea here is it's author and page. If there's no page, you just leave the author's name. I see in some drafts people are using author and year, and that is not what we're using for MLA, but rather that is an APA format. So if you're using author and year in your citation methods, then you need to make changes there. All right. Once again, I want to introduce, I want to cover the principles of citation, introducing sources. Most people are doing a really good job at that. Make sure I see the ending points. In some instances, I'm not seeing the closing quotation marks for the bracket or any parenthetical citation. You should show me the starting and ending points for all your source material. More importantly, the issue I'm looking at for a lot of the drafts is that nobody's including a works cited page. You are citing them in text, but I'm not seeing a formatted or any kind of a works cited page, which is a kind of a danger going into the final draft because a large portion of your grade here is going to be for your MLA, meeting MLA guidelines and criteria. So the idea here is I can't offer guidance or suggest about your works cited page or even be able to cross-reference your sources because I have no works cited page. So just be aware that that's fine for the draft, but make sure that you spend some time putting together a works cited page. So I want to get to the example essays just to give you an overview of what a works cited page should look like for this particular essay. Okay, it's Blue Collar Brilliance. Here's the bachelor problem. Now what we have is the works cited page is always on the next full page after where the essay ends. So even though the essay ends here, okay, we have all this room, it goes to the next full page. This is critical. You'll notice that all the authors, okay, all the authors are listed. Last name, first name is the way we cite authors in the works cited page. And when we use them in text, much like the examples demonstrate, you use first name, last name, and then last name to refer to authors. Now here we see they're always organized alphabetically. So B, C, D, M, all are alphabetically ordered. Now if you have a article that is not, or I should say does not have an author, then you have to use the title of the article to cite that particular piece. The idea here is now this would be how employers view an associate degree is the name of the article without an author. That's what you would use. So then you would use the H in the alphabetical ordering. So it would move down in this particular example after Dickler. So the idea here is that be aware of what you are using to alphabetize. So here we go. If we get down to also the second example on stress and anxiety,
We see in the Works Cited page, once again, authors leading the citation, organized alphabetically. And here I want to point out that each citation has a hanging indent. MLA and APA require hanging indents, and a hanging indent is simply where this hangs over the rest of the citation. And you can use this relatively easy in your document. Look under Format and Indentation Options, and it'll provide you a hanging indent. So you want to make sure that is a requirement for MLA when you turn in that final draft. Let me get to one little item I want to talk about. Now, remember, proofreading is not revision, it's proofreading. So what you want to do is after you've done your revisions, after you've had your peer reviews, you integrated their suggestions, you integrated my suggestions, it's time for you to proofread your document. So I'll talk about proofreading here, about reading the paper aloud. I have the self-review and editing checklist here. Please go through this checklist. Okay. Especially, have you double checked your capitalization, proper nouns and names? I cannot tell you how many people did not capitalize Navy in Essay 2 for Blue Collar Brilliance. It's a division of the armed forces. It should be capitalized. It's a proper name. So the idea here is make sure you have your capitalization correct. Make sure you have your punctuation correct. Your sentences are clear and concise, and look for your sentence boundaries. And also make sure in this proofread to read it aloud a couple of times and work through each particular sentence. If you want an A or a high score on an essay, there cannot be wonky sentences in there with bad punctuation or a lack of capitalization. It's not A work. So take the time to proof your essay before you upload to the final essay draft. All right, so I wanted to talk about proofing, MLA guidelines. Please take your time, work through your particular essay draft. Make sure you have your quote hamburgers built within your essay. Also, just double check your organizational structure. I'm not seeing, I'm seeing a lot about problems, but that rhetorical shift into solutions is somewhat unclear. All right. So that being said, good luck. Stay safe.